Okay, let's clean up our code a little bit, and then we will start working on player choice right here. Let's do const computer selection. So we got our code cleaned up a little bit. So this might look weird. We are setting a variable const to a function. What's going to happen is this function is going to return one of these three values. So we are actually setting this variable to one of these three strings. Function player choice. So we want to do the same thing. This one's going to be a little bit different. Let's say let input equal prompt type rock, paper, or scissors. If we run that player choice, it will ask us, it will have a pop-up on our screen that says this. I can show you that right now. If we actually run game, go live, we should see that right here. Type rock, paper, or scissors. Input is equal to input dot to lowercase. We want to make it so even if they type in all caps rock or capital R, lowercase o, capital C, capital K, what this is going to take that string and make it all lowercase. Console.log input. If we open this up, let's open up our console. If we type in rock, we'll see it right there. Let's try it again. Make it all caps. We can see that it made it lowercase. I type in paper. A couple problems with this. What if the user types in paper wrong? Currently, we're not doing any validation to see if they type in the wrong thing. Or if I press cancel, then it breaks the code because we canceled input. So input is null now, as we can see right here. And it's trying to make null to lowercase, and it just breaks it. What we can do here is we can do what's called a while loop. We could say while input is equal to null, input is equal to prompt. We come back into our browser, we'll type in rock real quick, and then let's just refresh. Let's clear the console as well. We refresh. Now if we press cancel, it's always just going to make us type something in. We could still type that in, or if we press OK, nothing will happen. This makes it so they can never press cancel and break our program, which is good. We need a function that checks the input and makes sure that it's one of these three choices. Let's make a function down here. Validate input. It's going to take in an argument as a parameter. So we're going to type in input right here. We could type anything in. Doesn't necessarily matter what we type right here. We just need to check if what they type in as input is contained within this element. So we can say return. What we want to do is if choices dot includes choice, return true, else return false. So this function will work perfectly fine, as we can see right here. Let check equal validate input of input. If check is equal to true, console.log input. Comment this one out. We save that, open up our browser, type rock, we see it right there. Type paper, we see it. Let's type something that doesn't exist, we won't see anything. Perfect. A lot of simplification we can do with this function. We're going to start breaking it down to make it a lot more intuitive and simplified. We actually don't need this else statement right here. If we do this, if we do it like that, it actually will do the same thing, because it's going to check if the choices array includes this, then it will return true. So once you return something, the function immediately ends. Function's not going to run anymore. And if it doesn't include that, this check will fail right here and it'll return false. We could even simplify it a little bit more. We could get rid of this So if choices includes choice, that is a true statement. So we could say return choices dot includes choice, like that. And this will, if choices includes choice, it's going to return true. Otherwise, it will return false. And what we'd want to do also right here is say while check is equal to false, prompt we type something in wrong, it will pop that up. You can see there, if we type rock, it'll go away. Let's refresh that one more time, try it again. If I type in pap, it won't work. Now you'll notice I even just typed it in correctly right there, and it's still continuously popping up. It's doing that because check right here never gets set back to true. What we need to do then is say input is equal to prompt. So we're going to reassign the value of input to whatever they type in here. We need to say input is equal to input to lowercase. And then we also need to run check again. So let's say check is equal to validate input of input. So pretty much similar to what we did up here. If we type in the correct option, input is going to go to lowercase, and then it's going to run a check to see if that choice is valid. If it is, if that is contained within our array, then check will become true, and this while loop will break because check is no longer false. This loop while check is equal to false will continuously run until check becomes true. So it's possible that this function just could indefinitely run. That's why we need to make sure that there's a way for check to become true, which we have right here. If we save this, open our browser back up, type in rock. Actually, we probably need to refresh. So let's close this out. We're actually stuck in our previous while loop, and it's never going to be able to break out. We can't even refresh it. So let's close the server down and let's go back up. So let's type something in wrong. Let's type in ROKC. So it broke. Let's type it in wrong again. Let's press cancel. So we actually just broke the code. What we need to do is we need to copy this check right under prompt. Now if we save that, let's try that again. We will type in rock right here. Let's refresh. So let's type it in wrong, ROKC. Let's hit cancel. Still wants us to type something in. Let's type it in incorrectly again. Let's type it in correctly now, and it will end the loop. So now we should have both choices. They should be similar. Now we could start comparing them against each other to see the conditions for if I win or the user wins versus if the computer wins or if it's a tie. Let's set up a function that does that right now. Function check winner. So this one's going to take in player choice. Let's just name it choice 1, choice P for choice player, choice C for choice computer. There's 3 ways that we could win. If we choose rock, they choose scissors, or if we choose paper and they choose rock, or if we choose scissors, they choose paper. I think that's all 3 of them. So we just need to check those to see if we win. We need to check to see if the computer wins, and we need to check if we're a tie. Checking if we're a tie is really easy. We could just say if choice P is equal to choice C, then just return tie like that. Let's do an else if choice P is equal to rock, and if we want to do check 2 things to see if 2 things are true, we do 2 ampersands next to each other like that. So let's type scissors in. Return. Now there's two other ways we can win, like I mentioned earlier. If we choose the other two options, then they choose the one that we beat. So we could type in like else if we choice is equal to paper and they choose rock, we'd win. We could also build those checks into this. So we're going to cut this. We're going to put another set of parentheses and paste it back into those parentheses. Now, right above my enter key, if I hold shift and press that slash, it gives me two lines. These two lines mean or. So we could say if this condition is true, or if another condition is true. So let's just copy this. So if we choose paper and they choose rock, then we win. So JavaScript's going to look through and say, okay, this condition true. Did the player choose rock and did the computer choose scissors? If that's not true, let's move on to the next argument. Is the player choice paper and is the computer choice rock? We could tag as many of these in here as we want. So if we choose scissors and they choose paper, then we also win. So this function is going to run through, check if it's a tie. If it's not a tie, it's going to move on to the next check to see if we won. And if that's not true, that means that the computer won. Those are the only three options: tie, we win, computer wins. We don't actually need to run through the same logic. We don't need to run through this logic to determine if the computer wins. We actually already know if they won because the other conditions failed. So let's do return computer. So we can put this right here. Const winner is equal to check winner of player selection and computer selection. So let's just do console.log winner. If I save that, we should be able to see that right here. If I type rock, paper. So in our console, the computer won that time. Refresh. Computer won that time as well. Let's just keep typing rock until we win. Eventually, I think we should, according to statistics. Yeah, the fact that we keep losing indicates that there's probably a bug in our code. Let's check what the computer keeps selecting. So let's do console.log computer selection. Okay, they chose scissors. Let's try it again. They chose paper. Okay, what our problem is in our player choice function, we're actually not returning input. So right here, let's do return input. It's a key part. Key part of debugging is trying to figure out where everything's breaking as well. Let's go back into our browser and now let's try to beat the stupid computer. Refresh. Rock. So we chose rock. Computer chose rock. We tied. Let's try to beat them again. Let's type rock. We chose rock. They chose scissors. We won. Okay, so what's left for us to do is play 5 rounds, see who won each round, and then display that in the console. So let's work on how to do play round 5 times. We could copy and paste this 5 times. Every time game is ran, this play round will be played 5 times. I could show you that right here. So if I type in rock, paper, scissors, rock, paper. So if that was 5 times, that works. Something this small scale, it probably doesn't matter if you did that. However, one of the best practices in programming is never repeat yourself. We're repeating ourselves 5 times right here, which is a little bit too much. So let's delete these 4. And we're going to do a loop. There's 2 loops we can do here. We could do a for loop or we could do another while loop. We already know what the while loops look like right here. Right, for let I equal 0. Typically, programmers use I for loops. We're going to say I is less than equal to 5. I plus plus. Round, play round. All we have to do, save that. Rock, paper, scissors, rock, paper, rock. We inspect that. However, we still don't know who won out of these. Like we could say, okay, we lost that one, tied, lost, tied. But it would be better if the code could just do that for us. And if we could just see who wins each time. Let's make another function then. Right above here, let's do function display or log wins. We're also going to do one thing right here. Let's do one more global variable. Let's say const winners is equal to an empty array. Each time that there's a winner, let's just grab this array and tag on a new winner on top of that. So we could say winners dot push like that, winner. So every time we have a winner, code determines a winner. This array is just going to fill up with all those winners. Console.log winners. Let's run this at the end of the game. We save that. Looks like we're running this 6 times for some reason. Why is this running 6 times? We want to start I at 1, so it's round 1. And while I is less than or equal to 5, it's going to run this code. After it runs everything within these brackets, right here and right here, I is going to increase. Then at the end, we're just going to display out all of those things in that array. There's a better way to do this though. Instead of just logging the array, let's say we're going to do a let player wins equal to winners dot filter. We're going to do a filter method. I'm just going to type this out and then explain what it's doing afterwards. This is an array method, so we're taking the array of winners. We're going to filter, so we're going to loop over each item in the array. You can name this whatever you want. You can name this winner, doesn't matter. I'm just going to call it item. So it's going to loop through each item and look at that item. And it's going to say if that item equals player, we're going to keep it. If it doesn't equal player, we're going to get rid of it. So this player wins, this is actually a new array that just has player in it. And that array could have 3 player items in it. It could have 0, it could have 5, maximum 5, minimum 0. We're actually going to do dot length. So this is going to tell us how many times that we've won. We're going to do dot length on here as well. So this will tell us how many times the computer's won. So we're just going to create another filter. We're going to create another filter array with just computer. We're going to create another filter array with just tie. One thing to keep in mind, if you do this, you have to make sure that this is the same as this. This is what we're pushing into this array right here. Just have to make sure that these are all the same, otherwise it's going to show 0. Then let's do console.log, let's say results. We're going to console.log player wins, comma, player wins. Let's do the same thing for computer. Let's get rid of this console log right here. And I think these are the only console logs we want for now. If we save this, open this back up in the browser, let's refresh, let's type rock, 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 and rock. Now over here we have our results. Player won once, the computer won once, and we tied. We try it again. We're just going to keep trying rock. We won twice, the computer won twice, and we tied once. It's looking pretty good. Let's also display the results of each round and who won each round. So let's come into here. And let's make another function, of course, called function log round. This is going to take in 3 arguments as parameters. Player choice again, computer choice, and winner. Let's also put the round number in here. So the console.log round. So we need one more parameter right here. Let's say round. Let's go log round. We're going to pass in the player selection, computer selection, the winner. And we need to pass the round in. But how do we get the round? The round isn't available right here. What we can do is we can pass I as an argument into play round, and we could say round right here, and now we know what round we're on. So let's put round. We save that, open up our terminal. I am going to open up a new instance of this. Rock, 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 rock. So every time a round is played, we see we chose rock, the computer chose paper, the computer won the round. Round 2, we choose rock, paper, they won again. Rock, scissors, we won. Rock, scissors, we won. Rock, paper, they won. We won twice, the computer won 3 times. Let's do one more little cool console log trick. In log round, we are going to do console.log. We're just going to do this. Let's have a button that you press that starts the game, and then after the game is played, you could press it again and replay the game. It's going to be really easy. We're going to come in here. We actually don't need this anymore if we're doing that. Save. In our index.html, let's put a button in here. Let's say start game. And we're going to do on click equal to game. Just like that. That's the function that we run once we want to play the game. So if we go live now, we should see that, and the game doesn't start until we press this, and then it'll ask us for rock. Now if we inspect it, we should see that. Cool. Now if we refresh, what we can do is once we load this game in, we can go to the console before we even start the game, and then we can see what happens as each round goes on. This is really nice. We can start the game over if we want, and it keeps track of who's won the previous rounds. So this is 10 rounds. We've won 2, the computer's won 5, we've tied in 3. So that's all done. Let's just change the styles a little bit. Let's go new file, styles.css. Let's grab this class right here, flex container. What it looks like in the browser didn't change. I think we did not import the style sheet into our document. So let's go link styles.css. Let's change this as well to rock, paper, scissors. Save, view that in the browser. Cool. Let's change the CSS of this button a little bit. Then we're going to do one more thing and this project's done. Well, anytime we press this button, the game starts. Real quick, let's add a paragraph tag right here. Let's say Cool, just a little hint to help open the console, just a shortcut, Control-Shift-J. There's the console for start game. There's one thing left for us to do. It's not actually necessary, it's just a cool little trick. I don't think that this tutorial is really about manipulating what the text says on the front end. This is the DOM. I don't think this project's really about that. We do want to change start game. We want to change this text to say like play new game or replay game. How we do that is right here in our main.js. After the game's played, let's go document.get. Let's do query selector. We only have one button, so we're just going to type in button. It has to be in quotations. Button. Let's say text content is equal to play new game. Let's say play new game right there. And after we do that, it actually does keep track of the results of that game as well. I think we've completed the project. Cool, that was really fun to build, guys. Hopefully you guys were able to accomplish it as well. Let me know if you did anything differently, or if you think I made any mistakes, or you think yours is better than me. Also hit me up if you think you could beat me at rock, paper, scissors. Guarantee you can, probably, because I'm terrible at rock, paper, scissors most of the time. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.